Hey grade 7, welcome to another edition of Mr. V Teaches Math. Today we are moving on to 1.8, which is multiplying by powers of 10. This is another mental math sort of exercise. Our goal for today is to be able to use a rule for multiplying by powers of 10. Powers of 10 are basically, there are sort of three components, sometimes two, sometimes three. It's basically using ones and zeros, and sometimes using decimal places. So numbers like 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and so on up, those are powers of 10. Numbers like 0.1, 0.01, 0.001, 0.0001, and so on, those are also powers of 10, but those ones just happen to be less than 1. So, I wonder if we can look at this for just a quick sec. Stuff on the left. So we have 3,600 times 10, which equals 36,000. 360 times 10, which is 3,600. 36 times 10 is 360. 3.6 times 10 is 36. 0.36 times 10 is 3.6. I wonder if we notice anything when we're multiplying by 10. Those of you who noticed, hopefully noticed two things. When there is no decimal, what you do when you multiply by 10 is you just add a 0 on the end. So 3,600, you add a 0, becomes 36,000. 360, if you add a 0, becomes 3,600. Now, if the number has a decimal in it, for example, 3.6 or 0.36, the decimal place gets moved one spot to the right. So 3.6 times 10, move it to the right, becomes 36. This one, you move the decimal place one to the right, becomes 3.6. On the other hand, or on the other side of the sheet, you have, say, a number like 8,650, and we're going to multiply each of these numbers by 0.1. So we're going to multiply them by a number that is less than 1. And if you'll notice, 8,650 times 0.1 is 865. It gets smaller. 865 times 0.1 is 86.5. It gets smaller. 86.5 times 0.1 is 8.65. It gets smaller. 8.65 times 0.1 is 0.865. Again, it gets smaller. 0.865 times 0.1 is 0.0865. Every time, the number is getting smaller. So it seems like if we're multiplying a number by a power of 10 that is less than 1, our number is going to get smaller. And we can notice that if there's not a decimal place, either we're going to take a 0 off or we're going to move a decimal place to the left, right? So 865, if we imagine that there's a decimal place right here, it's going to go 1 to the left, right? So here we just moved it 1 to the left, and we could take the 0 off. Here again, we're moving it 1 to the left, 1 to the left, 1 to the left. So, hopefully we've noticed that. Let's go through some examples. We're going to multiply this column of numbers, we're going to multiply them all by 100. Now, the goal is to be able to use our heads to do this. So, 100 times 350, we're going to put on two zeros. So this becomes 35,000. 100 times 35 becomes 3,500. 100 times 3.5 becomes 350. And 100 times 0.35 becomes 35. Every time, we're moving the decimal place two spots to the right, because there are two zeros in 100. If we multiply a number by 1,000, we notice that there are three zeros, and so we're going to multiply, or just add on, or move the decimal place over 1, 2, 3 spots, which means that we get 330,000. If we have 33, we move it 3 spots to the right, gives us 33,000. 3 spots to the right gives us 3,300. 3 spots to the right gives us 330. So this number is bigger than 1. It's got 3 zeros, which means we're moving 3 spots to the right. Here we have a number that is less than 1, 0.01. We noticed on the other page that when we multiply a number by a power of 10 that's less than 1, that decimal places are going to the left. Now, because with 0.1, it was just one number after the decimal, so we went 1 to the left. Here, there are 2 numbers after the decimal, so we're going to go 2 spots to the left. So this becomes 34. 2 spots to the left becomes 3.4. 2 spots to the left becomes 0.34. 2 spots to the left becomes 0.034. So, hopefully we've noticed a few things. Let's try this out with some random sort of questions. 234 times 100. This number is bigger than 1. It's got 2 zeros, which means we're going to add 2 zeros onto the end of this number. So that means it's going to become 23,400. We add 2 zeros. This one, 0.1 times 29. Number is less than 1. 2 spots after the decimal. It's going to go over 2 to the left, 0.29. Number that's less than 1. 1 spot after the decimal. Move it over 1 to the left. Becomes 30. 3 0. The number is bigger than 1. 3 zeros at the end. Move it over 1, 2, 3. Becomes 45,700. Times 10 means 1 to the right. So it becomes 43. 3 spots after the decimal means 3 spots to the left. So it becomes 0.6. 1 spot after the decimal means 1 spot to the left. 5.63. Numbers bigger than 1, 3 zeros, means we add 3 zeros on. Say 1, 2, 3. So it becomes 8,300,000 and then those 3 new zeros. So 8,300,000. So, hopefully you can remember that rule. We're going to get lots of chance to practice it tomorrow. And that's it. Have a great night.